please share a bit more about Ojas? So yeah, so now finally, we are exploring the realm a little bit about mysticism. So if you ask anyone, there's no spiritual process without Ojas. There's no spiritual experience. Okay, that is the reason. There have been many people. For example, even me, before coming to Isha, I've been doing Buddhist meditation for nearly, you can say, 4, 5, 6 years or 7. I lost the count. I'm not keeping track of any time anymore because I don't have too much time to look back into the past. Only when people ask certain kind of questions, I just use them as an example, because these were my limitations, and they were my steps through which I came. So I was doing Buddhist meditation for a long time. Why I'm using this example is because even if you're ever doing any kind of practice or any kind of spiritual practice, whatever you have learned from somebody else or from the YouTube or something, which is very dangerous, to be honest. Don't try to become a book yogi or a wave yogi or something like that, unless it comes from a genuine source. Because most of the reason, many people have been doing spiritual kind of practices or sadhana for a long period of time, but they are unable to experience anything, or they are unable to do the progress, is only because they don't have enough Ojas in the system. And that is the main reason behind the Sannidhi.net project also. Because people, to become conscious, there are only one way or only two ways. One way is either you have to enhance your perception by focusing into a specific way, that is a Buddhist way of doing it, which is also known as the Dharana, Vipassana, or Anapanasati Yoga, whichever name you want to use. That is one way, but unless you do not become a monk, that is impossible for nearly 100% of the people. I can guarantee you that. I've tried that. You can also give it a try. You can waste your life. That is way of saying. And again, I'm becoming a little bit of hardcore here. Of course, that's why I think all of you are here for. The another way is, just like Sadhguru says, if you cannot enhance your perception, if you just enhance the energy in your system, which is the Ojas itself, then just like you have a bulb, just using the same analogy Sadhguru is using, if you have a bulb, and if you just give a little bit of voltage, it will glow only that much, which you have provided the voltage into that one of the energy. But if you enhance the voltage or increase the voltage, the more lighter it will become, the more brighter it will become, and you'll be able to see everything with clarity. So that is the main reason, most of the people are unable to do sadhana, or the spiritual experience actually becomes some kind of folklore or dream or story, is only because they don't have enough energy in the system. So how to get this energy? So there are only two ways. Just like, for example, now is the winter. I do not know how you guys are feeling, depending on where you are. But if you are feeling cold, there are only two ways to warm your body. One way is by going in front of the fire, which is basically the energy spaces that we're talking about. For example, Linga Vairavi is best example. You can just go in front of the Linga Vairavi, and you can use their energies to becoming more and more aware. Dhanalinga is another perfect example. Now the another way is but is it practical to go in front of the fire always? No, it is not practical. You cannot carry the temple with you. That is where the Guru comes into the picture. Sadhguru has given many processes, all the kriyas and everything. So basically whatever we actually refer as a kriya is basically converting the physical dimension of energy that you have in your system to the non-physical dimension, which is actually known as the Ojas. So I'll just share my experience again with the disclaimer that this is neither the teaching nor the guidance. So at the moment, but how to make use of the Ojas? That is the main question. It comes. If you're just like making by itself, but since you want to know a little bit of mechanics, at the moment, what we actually refer as the prana and what is we refer as the Ojas are the elusive things for most of the people, because most of the people will die without even experiencing their energy body. They will just experience their thought and emotions and their physical body, and they will die. What we actually refer as the prana actually flows through your pranamaya kosha, or the energy body. Now, this is also the physical dimension, but much more subtler than what we nowadays we refer as the electric signals in your body, or the calories, or whatever different words that scientists have given. So if you look from the perspective of the Ayurveda, there are 3 dimensions of energies. The first dimension is called the prana. Second dimension is called the tejas, and then the third dimension is known as the ojas. These are more like a subtler kind of dimensions, ojas being the non-physical dimension. So if you have enough ojas in the system, you'll have the license to go beyond and open any kind of dimensions within yourself. And with the advanced programs, I will not reveal too many things here, because I don't want to destroy a possibility. So if you go through all the advanced programs from Asia and establish these practices within your system, this is going to be possibility for you also. Otherwise, like, I would not be wasting my time here creating all these posts, trying to fire up as many people as possible, because most of the people are going too slow. Now coming back to the question of the ojas again. So basically, like just like I mentioned, that for most of the people, what we actually refer as the prana and what is referred as the ojas are not in their experience. So how to make use of it? That is the reason is basically, for example, like we are alive not because of the breathing that is happening, which is actually expanding our lungs or compressing our lungs, but we are being alive because of the prana, which is actually is the vitality in the system. We can technically see that like a dead person, how much air or oxygen you push into their lungs, they cannot come back to life because the prana has left the body. So now, coming a little bit like technical aspects or something, if you want to interact with the ojas, without interacting with the ojas, there is no spiritual process. So because of that reason, the breathing that is happening in our system is connected with the prana, and the prana is connected with the ojas. So basically, whatever we eat, that is converted into the prana. That is what is keeping us alive. And just like Sadhguru says, there are different kind of foods which is going to add the prana in our system, and that is going to reduce the prana in our system. I'll not go too much deeper into this one. You can find these videos in the YouTube. So when you have enough prana in the system, it becomes overflowing, and that is where there will be a glow in your system, and that is actually what the Ayurveda refers as the tejas. That is where the word tej also comes. Tej basically means the glowing, or the glowing sun. Tejasvi, Tejasvini, I think you must have heard these words. Many people have these names. Now, but your body will physically do these 2 things by itself, but it will not go to the ojas. Why it doesn't go to the ojas? Because the body is not designed for the spiritual processes. The body is designed only to keep this body alive and prepare it to continue the next generation. So body is not interested for your spiritual process. That is the reality it is. So because of that reason, since you don't have access to the ojas, what you need to do, that is what the kriya comes into play, because the kriya can actually convert the prana into the ojas. The more you kriya you do, the more ojas you will have. And that is why like the powerful processes like Sakti Chandana Kriya comes into the play, through which you can generate so much ojas. You can create the stack of the energies. You can read a little bit about the significance of this in the Mystics Musings book. I'll not go too much more further than this because I'll be crossing my line here because this is a very public platform. So you can do the kriyas, whatever the kriyas name that is attached, they all are going to convert the prana into ojas. That is what the yogasanas also do. So you can just like learn all these practices, kriyas and practices. And that is the reason, like after you do the kriya and you sit, you can meditate very easily because now there is enough energy in the system. And now like other dimensions can become available to you. But now like if you think that like you don't have enough ojas, like you need a lot of energies, and that is the where the energy support system comes into play. That's why Sadhguru is offering something like Sadhguru Sannidhi and Devi Yantra, Avigna Yantra. And there are a lot of different kind of Devi Gudi and Dhanalinga Yantra. This kind of yantras has been provided by Sadhguru so that they can actually provide necessary energy to your system. Again, there are a lot of things, like I think we didn't actually got the questions. Not all energies are same, depending on the type of the consecration, depending upon the capability of the consecrator, as well as the intention of the person, like why the specific form has been created. And that is the reason that like we actually map the energy spaces is also, because whenever we are referring as the energy spaces, we're actually talking about the crazy enormous source of ojas. We're not talking about the other kind of energies. So we are just referring to the ojas. But again, it has got like a different qualities depending upon different natures and everything. That is the reason we give them different names. Some of the Shiva forms are known as the Someshwara. Some of them are known as the Nilakanteshwara. Some of them are also known as the Mukteshwara or the Dhanalinga, Adiyogi, or Linga Vairavi, Kamakya, Pashupatinath, Kala Vairava. These are all given the different names because although they are the same energies, but depending on the consecrations and everything, they do different things for different purposes and everything. So yeah, so I think like I summed up the question. So it's my privilege to share this information also, that you raised this question, that if you want to make the spiritual progress without the ojas, it's a very, very difficult task. So please make use of the possibility that Sadhguru has offered to all of us.